Hey everyone, welcome back. We're diving into some pretty murky waters today.
Murky is right.
President Biden's pardon of his son Hunter.
Yeah.
It's it's caused a lot of waves, to say the least.
Quite a few, yeah.
So we've got a stack of articles and excerpts here.
A whole lot to sift through.
Let's try to make sense of it all right?
Mhm.
What exactly went down? What's the fallout looking like? And,
The big question.
yeah, the big question, what does this mean going forward?
Absolutely. I think that's what everyone's trying to figure out.
I mean, presidential pardons, they're always kind of controversial, right?
They sure are.
But this one feels different.
It's definitely stirred up more than usual.
Even people who, typically support the president are scratching their heads on this one.
Yeah, it's not just the expected opposition this time.
Right, right. So maybe to start, maybe we should just lay out the basics.
Sure, get everyone on the same page.
Yeah. What was Hunter Biden actually convicted of?
Right, so earlier this year, he had those convictions on gun charges and then the guilty plea for tax evasion.
Okay, so we're not talking about like a parking ticket here.
No, these are serious offenses.
Yeah.
Potentially big legal trouble.
Right, and that's kind of what makes this whole pardon thing so tricky.
Exactly. The context is really important here.
So remind me, what was Biden's initial stance on all this?
Well, if you remember, he'd said he wouldn't pardon Hunter.
Right.
But then, boom, after Thanksgiving, there it was.
Total turnaround.
Yeah, a lot of people felt whiplash from that one.
So what's the White House saying? How are they justifying this?
Well, they're leaning on the political targeting argument, basically saying Hunter was unfairly targeted because of his family.
I could see how they'd go there.
And they're also claiming a miscarriage of justice, suggesting there were problems with the legal process itself.
Okay, but are those arguments actually holding water?
Well, that's where things get really interesting.
Yeah, because I can see both sides of that political targeting thing. Like, on one hand, I get it.
Sure.
Being the president's son probably puts you under a microscope.
Absolutely. Every move scrutinized.
But then again, isn't that scrutiny a good thing?
Interesting point.
Like, it means the system's working.
Right. You're saying that even with those connections, he was still held accountable.
Exactly. So is it really targeting if the law is being applied equally?
It definitely raises some questions.
Yeah, and I think this is where that whole trust in the justice system thing comes in.
Absolutely. This pardon has really brought that debate to the forefront.
Because if people start to think there's a different set of rules for the powerful.
That's a slippery slope.
It is, yeah. So even some Democrats, they're not happy about this.
Not at all.
What are they saying?
Their big worry is, like we said, that it undermines the whole system.
Makes it look rigged.
Exactly. Like there's one system for the elite and another for everyone else.
And that's bad news no matter what side of the aisle you're on.
It's interesting. Even Trump,
Yeah, what did he say?
he came out swinging, called it a miscarriage of justice.
Which is, well, it's kind of ironic.
Yeah, considering some of the things he's been accused of, it's definitely a moment.
But it does show how this issue is hitting a nerve across the board.
Absolutely. This isn't just partisan bickering.
It's deeper than that.
It makes you think about presidential power, how family ties influence decisions.
Yeah, where do you draw the line between justice and mercy?
Tough questions.
So let's recap. We've got a pardon that sparked a ton of controversy.
Criticism from all sides.
And a legal situation that honestly still feels kind of murky.
Yeah, a lot of unanswered questions.
So where do we go from here?
Hmm.
What are the long-term implications of all this?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
Does this set some kind of precedent for future pardons?
Will presidents be more likely to use this power?
And what about public trust? Will people
Well-
become even more cynical about our institutions?
Man, that's a lot to unpack.
And then there's the impact on Biden himself. How does this affect his presidency going forward?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out.
Definitely something to keep an eye on.
Well, thanks for helping us break this down. I think we've given our listeners plenty to think about.
Food for thought, for sure.
As always, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Until then.